United States submarine base at Key West, Florida. A dispatch that quoted President Truman's press secretary, Charles Ross, as saying that President Truman has no knowledge of any secret project by this government that would give substance to the existence of such objects. Ross also said that both the Air Force and the Navy deny that such objects exist.
Hi.
Hi.
I specifically wrote this down for a, hey, what's up? My name is Noelle. And you know how we're always trying to figure out, like, ways to express billionaire math?
Yeah.
And we can, like, never think of it?
Yeah.
Well, this girl online named Kara Seeley posted this one, and I think it's very good. So here is some billionaire math for you. Jeff Bezos proposed his fiancée with a ring that cost $3.4 million. Jeff Bezos makes about $12 billion a year. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So the equivalent of him buying that ring is the same as someone who makes $60,000 a year buying a ring that costs $15.
He doesn't love her enough.
So there's some billionaire math for you.
That's insane. I was thinking, like, that seems low.
Mm-hmm.
Which is how much Hollywood has broken my brain. Because I'm like, I'm pretty sure Kim Kardashian's ring was more than that.
But it just, I mean, yes, I think so. But it never ceases to amaze me how our tiny little lizard brains just cannot fathom what $1 billion is, let alone $12 billion.
We weren't meant to. And I don't think we ever will evolve
to
that point.
Like, I could sit every single morning, I could wake up and say this as a mantra, and it will still not fully seep into me what that actually means. You know what I mean? Like the scale of that, because it is just so outside of humanity, it feels that, like, you can't even comprehend it. So anyway, that's me. Who are you?
Yeah. And I'm Chelsea. This tea will fix the bad habits. That's me.
What tea are you drinking?
Well, I was drinking tea, but now I have a beer because the tea didn't help my headache. So maybe
you
this
don't
nice
have a
fizzy.
fucking beer, bitch. That's a seltzer. Grow up.
You're right. I actually don't drink beer. I drink seltzers, which someone once called a cheer beer. And I said, yes, I will accept that.
Cheer beer's cute.
It is cute, right?
I don't fuck with beer either, except for Corona Lime.
Yeah, you've been on that lime kick.
Dude, it's so good. You get a cold Corona Lime with additional lime juice in it. Mm-hmm. Divine. That's the shit that makes me go, is like, oh, that's why people like beer.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, I know that's what Oliver really likes to do. He just gets, like, the squeeze of lime juice in the little fake plastic lime.
Mm-hmm.
I will keep that in mind when I am procuring alcohol for our teas.
Yeah, I very much do enjoy it. It makes me feel like one of those commercials that Corona has where they have, like, the beer and the sand pail on the beach.
It reminds me of Vin Diesel because he says, you can have any beer you want as long as it's a Corona. So.
And he was so fucking right.
Yeah, he was so right.
So speaking of not Coronas on the beach, what are we talking about today?
Ooh, we're talking about a fun one. Today, Noelle, we are venturing into the icy wastes of Antarctica.
I also want to say here that this is low-key a bit of a listener episode because everyone has been begging for you to, in a succinct way, put all of your Antarctica knowledge and feelings. And we did once upon a time, but it was like back when the titles of our episodes and the descriptions were just incoherent ramblings.
Earth episode.
Yeah, but we didn't even, like, title it that. So, like, no one could even figure out what it was. We couldn't even figure it out. We didn't keep documents. We didn't keep all of our notes and our scripts. It was just like the Wild West back then. And so when people would say, you always talk about Antarctica, you always talk about Admiral Byrd, where can I find this information? We would go, like, good luck. It's somewhere in there. So now you're redoing it.
This is, I wouldn't even say redoing it. This is like such a niche part of Antarctica. It doesn't cover necessarily what I fully believe about Antarctica, but it is a fun way to dip the toe in. Because the last time we talked about it, I was a guest on this podcast, and you had a completely different co-host.
Yeah.
That's how long ago it was.
Yeah. The Dark Ages.
The Dark Ages, indeed. So we're going to revisit it a little bit. The nice thing about Antarctica is that we could probably have an entire podcast specifically about Antarctica, but today we're only talking about one little conspiracy there. It would be cool maybe to revisit Flat Earth so that we can really hit it with a full mallet of information. And you know what? We can still do that. But when I say icy wastes of Antarctica, I mean that as a lie, because it is a place that they, the collective capital T they, want you to believe is so remote and so hostile that only a few have dared to explore its frozen landscape. And we've talked about this before, about the oases on Antarctica, how plants can grow there. There was even a point in time where Antarctica was actually warmer than Utah in our most recent winter. So imagine that in the very middle of the United States, we get colder than Antarctica. But beyond what we're told is basically an entire world of lies that they want us to feel so removed from Antarctica. So it kind of begs the question, like, there are so many significant secrets about it that what are they trying to deliberately hide? So today we're going to jump into the strange history of Antarctica and the theory of a massive ice wall, something so immense that it could change everything we know about the world. And strap in, Noelle, because this isn't just a tale of ice and snow. It is a story that stretches back through time. It involves ancient civilizations, covert military operations, and dare I say it, even otherworldly forces.
That's the secret recipe right there. That's the sauce. Yeah,
that's the triarchy? No, that's a quad squad. That's a quad squad. So our story begins long before anyone set foot on the icy continent. Ancient maps like the famous Hyrie Reese map from 1513.
Yeah, famous. I totally know what you're talking about.
Oh, you've seen it, Bish. I know you've seen it. It has baffled historians and cartographers for centuries. It was drawn by a Turkish admiral, but the map shows the coast of South America and, surprisingly, the northern coast of Antarctica. But here's where it gets weird, because Antarctica is shown without any ice. And you have to ask, how is that possible? Because the official discovery of Antarctica only happened in 1820, which was more than 300 years after the map was drawn. But the coastline matches almost perfectly with what we know today. So it begs the question, could the map be based on even older sources and he was merely copying it? Could those sources know of a land or the land of Antarctica before it was covered in ice and it just happened to be passed down through Turkish sources? Because if that's true, then who or what mapped Antarctica in ancient times? Some suggest that this knowledge could have come from advanced civilizations, one that existed long before recorded history. And so now we're getting into the talk of a lost society, maybe even one connected to the mythical Atlantis, which is always popular. We like to prefer Moo on this podcast because we are educated.
Yeah.
And some believe that this ancient civilization was destroyed by a cataclysmic event. Others argue that extraterrestrial beings could have provided this knowledge, beings, who would have had the technology to see the world as it truly was, and without the cover of ice.
They do that throughout history.
But let's fast forward a couple of centuries. So the early 20th century brought a rush of expeditions to Antarctica. Explorers like Ernest Shackleton and Robert Falcon Scott became household names, and their journeys were celebrated as examples of human endurance and bravery. But beyond the heroics, there are whispers of discoveries that were never made public. Take my personal hero, Admiral Richard E. Byrd, one of the most famous Antarctic explorers. Byrd led multiple expeditions to Antarctica, But his work during Operation Highjump is the one that really raises eyebrows. Officially, Operation Highjump, which took place in 1946 and 1947, was a massive U.S. Navy mission to establish a research base and train for cold weather operations. But when you look at the scale of the operation, 4,700 men, 13 ships, and 33 aircraft, it is very clear that this was no ordinary mission. So what were they really doing down there? Admiral Byrd himself made some very cryptic comments upon his return. In an interview with a South American newspaper, Byrd was quoted as saying, "The present expedition has discovered a vast new land beyond the pole. This area is as large as the United States, and no living being has ever seen it before. It's a land of everlasting mystery." Now, some people do argue that he could have meant Antarctica, that he could have meant the hollow earth, that there was a land beyond Antarctica, or even a continent that is completely hidden near the United States that only the elite know about. But there is a lot of speculation that what Byrd discovered wasn't just a barren frozen landscape, but something far more extraordinary. Some believe that Byrd encountered the legendary ice wall, a massive structure that stretches around the continent. But why would there be an ice wall in the first place, and what could be behind it? Let's dig into an idea of an ice wall. This theory suggests that Antarctica isn't just a continent, but a barrier. A natural, or perhaps artificially enhanced, barrier that encircles our world, preventing us from venturing too far. This is the idea that ties into the ancient concept of a flat Earth, where the ice wall is believed to be the edge of the world as we know it.
You know what I think of here when I think of this ice wall being a barrier to prevent us from venturing out?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever play that ATV game for like the first PlayStation?
No, I did not play video games. My parents made me focus on my homework.
Fucking God. There was an ATV video game that was for like the first PlayStation. It had the sickest fucking soundtrack. It was like all butt rock and all dad rock, and it fucking ruled. But you would just be like out cruising like in a barren wasteland, and then for seemingly no reason at all, you would just explode into the air, like explode up, and then it would throw you back to the main map. And like that's how it kept you within the barriers.
Oh my God.
You would just be like out there like on your little ATV just listening to fucking Trapped or whatever, and then it would boom. And then you just
that is crazy.
Projectile back into the main map. So.
I feel like we've seen that in pop culture where like the invisible barrier, like even like in the Truman Show, you know what I mean? Like all of the ideas that our world is contained. And you know what? They're onto something.
I think they are. I think
started with PlayStation.
Yeah.
And then it was Jim Carrey. So.
Yeah.
Proponents of this theory argue that the ice wall was built, or at least utilized, by a powerful force to keep humanity contained within a specific area. I like to describe it as like a frisbee flipped upside down, where we're on the flat part and then the edges come up.
Yeah.
But before you dismiss this as a mere conspiracy, consider the fact that what if the ice wall wasn't just about keeping us in, but also about keeping something else out? According to some sources, the ice wall could be concealing entrances to vast underground cities or bases. And these entrances, hidden deep within the ice, could be remnants of an ancient civilization or even something not of this earth. This is another thing that kind of dives into the flat earth conspiracy, whereas it gets rooted into deep Christianity, which is how it gets rooted in deep conservatism, because the belief is that when you get to the edge of the earth and you get over the wall, you will see celestial proof. And some people argue that it wasn't called Operation Highjump because they were just going to Antarctica and trying to figure it out. They were thinking it was called Operation Highjump because they were jumping the wall.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Scary.
Right? I lost my place. There are documents, leaked, of course, Noelle,
of course,
that describe these entrances to these other lands in detail. Some claim that they are large enough to allow entire ships and aircraft to pass through. We have seen that this is how they get King Kong out in movies.
I saw.
Oh, I saw. Was it Godzilla?
It was
Kong
wait,
Island?
was it Kong Island?
I don't know. It doesn't
King
matter. But when they go into Antarctica to enter the Hollow Earth, I was like vindicated.
No, that was cool. Not Godzilla -1. It was the kind of, shitty one. Peace and Love. That came before.
It definitely was not the good one.
It was not the good one.
And he had to go get King Kong to fight Godzilla, I think.
But they went.
He has his sword.
They went through Antarctica. I remember that.
His club. Yeah.
It's insane. And I literally thought of you. And I was like, wow.
Yeah. Well, I think we saw it together.
We did.
I think we zipped our heads to each other and we're like, oh.
Yeah, that's literally what happened.
Yeah, it was, and then that's all we could think about the entire movie. I think Kong won.
I barely remember anything after that.
And then I think they played like, some folks are born made to wave the flag. His mom comes out and just beats the shit out of Godzilla.
Oh, my God.
I might be mixing different movies together.
You're hallucinating, but like it's so on brand. I am now in your delusion and convinced that's what happened as well. We're having a folie à deux because I'm Isn't that
what happened? Like Kong comes out with like the fucking Navy and they're like in a helicopter and they're flying and they bring Kong down to fight Godzilla.
That's what I think.
Whips off his aviator sunglasses.
Yeah. And it was right before the Godzilla Kong beach volleyball scene.
Yes, that's it. That's it.
That was the movie.
Yeah, It wasn't about teaching Noel. It was about him just wanting to keep flying. He was a man of the air. God damn it. And then Lady Gaga sang that ballad. It was so good.
Yeah, what was that?
Hold my hand. Like, why does everything sound like Cher and Elvis?
I like to think that Lady Gaga in the Godzilla vs. Kong movie sang that fucking sad song from the Stars Born movie.
Oh my!
Yeah,
I was talking about the Top Gun Lady Gaga ballad. There's so many.
Talking about that one, the Stars Born. Oh my God! And then we find Godzilla hanging in the garage, like in that.
Godzilla's the one who played Jerry Lee Lewis on the piano at the bar.
Fuck. Okay. So
anyway.
Is it my turn?
Okay, let me read. So the documents are leaked and they describe these entrances.
Cool.
Some claim that big things could get through. I'm seeing how we got on this tangent. One may say even King Kong could fit through it.
We started again.
Yeah. Once inside, these vessels could access underground facilities or even massive tunnels that led to other parts of the world. And if true, this would be one of the greatest secrets ever kept from humanity.
So, as lighthearted and fun as Godzilla and Kong being in Top Gun is, unfortunately, we can't talk about flat Earth and more specifically Antarctica without talking about the Nazis. Give me 20 Nazi scalps. It's like peanut butter and jelly. And please, if you want a true deep dive of the flat Earth and Nazism, go listen to the Behind the Bastards episode titled "Surprise: Flat Earth is a Nazi Conspiracy." They're great.
Why do you think they went to Venezuela? Because that's the closest part to get to Antarctica.
Yeah.
Even to this day.
Yep. So we're only going to be biting off a small portion. During World War II, the Nazis went to Antarctica. The most notable was the German Antarctic expedition from 1938 to 1939, led by the German naval officer and explorer Alfred Reichter. The expedition aimed to map uncharted areas of Antarctica and claimed parts of the continent for Germany. They established a base called, you can go ahead and try to pronounce that, Schwabenland, and conducted, quote, research, which when said in the same sentence as Nazis is never good. And this is all true. That is all true in fact. This next part is where the tinfoil comes out. One theory is that the Nazi base in Antarctica was not for science and whale fat, like History.com wants you to believe, but a base used for secret, scary, and evil Nazi experiments and a refuge for high ranking Nazis after World War II. Some would even claim that's where Hitler went, and what we saw in the little suicide moment was a doppelganger. A similar yet different theory is that the Antarctica Nazi base, or Base 211, was an underground facility where Nazis conducted advanced technology research. This technology is usually described as being far beyond the level of what was publicly known at the time, including flying saucers, anti-gravity devices, and esoteric magic. There are 3 areas of thought on how they got this information. Some suggest that the technology was either provided by extraterrestrial beings or derived from ancient alien artifacts. Others propose that the technology was the result of secret research and development conducted by the Nazis, potentially involving stolen or reverse engineered technology. Some versions of the theory suggest that the Nazis discovered remnants of a lost civilization or ancient technologies in Antarctica, which they then utilized or adapted. Others believe that the base was less of alien tech and more of a place for Nazi officials to escape. Going down the rabbit hole more with this one is that the Earth is hollow and entrances to the inner world are located in Antarctica, suggesting that the Nazis discovered these entrances and that they found a hidden advanced civilization there.
They did. They found the Nordic aliens, which is where Hitler was very inspired by his Aryan endeavors.
Yeah, the Nordic aliens being the tall, blonde hair, blue eyes, which again is, like Chelsea said, where he got the Aryan obsession from. The Thule Society, which is an esoteric organization that Hitler was obsessed with and heavily influenced Nazi ideology. This is also where you get like I don't know how else to say it, but like Nazi fashion. It was all like the angular design was all esoteric. It's often linked to Antarctica, claiming that the Thule Society had knowledge of ancient secrets and technologies that they believed could be found in Antarctica. And as we unfortunately see, there is a common thread of what people believe is going on in Antarctica.
Definitely. And some of these beliefs tie very heavily back into the ice wall. And that ties into them thinking that it is not a natural formation, but was created by this advanced civilization. And it could be a civilization that is the same one that built the pyramids or the ancient megaliths, all found all over the world. And there are those who suggest that this civilization may have been aided by extraterrestrial beings or the Nordic aliens by sharing technology and knowledge that allowed them to build structures that have withstood the test of time. So let's talk about some of the reports that have come out over the years. In 2016, WikiLeaks released a trove of emails that included correspondence between astronaut Edgar Mitchell and John Podesta, a top advisor to several U.S. presidents. In one email, Mitchell wrote about a potential disclosure event that would reveal the existence of extraterrestrial life and the use of zero-point energy. He also mentioned Antarctica, suggesting that it was a hotbed of this said extraterrestrial activity. And it's not just conspiracy theorists who believe that there's something strange going on down there. Because in 1947, shortly after the end of World War II, as Noah pointed out, the Nazi regime was very obsessed with Antarctica. And there are unverified claims that they even established a secret base in a region that they called Neuschwabenland. Some believe that the Nazis
German really came out of you there.
I know, that sounded good, right?
That was crazy. I got scared.
So some believe that they were searching, that they went back to Antarctica to search for this ancient technology or even the remnants of the ancient civilization hidden beneath the ice. After the war, rumors persisted that high-ranking Nazis escaped to this base where they continued their work in secret. So could it be that the Nazi regime discovered something extraordinary in Antarctica? Hold on.
There you go. Get it out. Yeah, take another sip of that Vizzy. It'll help you enunciate.
But it kind of begs the question that if we knew that the Nazis were going to Venezuela to get down to Antarctica, maybe they just nipped that in the bud and said that they stayed in Venezuela because they didn't want anyone to know that Nazis escaped, survived, and thrived in our southern hemisphere. But the mysteries of Antarctica don't end with the ice wall, because in recent years, there have been reports of strange pyramid-like structures emerging from the ice. Remember, we said that these ancient monoliths are reflective of what we see all over the world, and pyramids are no exception to that. They are structures that are eerily symmetrical and massive, and they lead people to believe that they could not possibly be natural formations at all. Imagine someone coming up to you and telling you that the pyramids of Egypt were natural formations. Bitch, not this time. Not any
fairy
time.
tales, and fallacies.
Instead, people believe that they could be remnants of an ancient advanced technology, perhaps built by the exact same people that constructed the ice wall. Now, scientists have tried to explain these pyramids as mere mountains shaped by ice and wind, but their precision and alignment with ancient sites around the world fuel speculation that they are something much more different.
Also, the shapes formed by wind and ice are like mountain ranges. They're not perfect little pyramids.
Or sand dunes.
Yeah.
Is like a really easy snapshot of what those would look like.
Yeah.
Not a perfect pyramid. That's crazy.
Insane.
That would imply that like all of that pressure is coming from all four areas perfectly.
Yeah, perfectly.
Up into a point.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Equally, symmetrically, all at the same time. It's insane.
Born at night, but not last night, scientists.
Were you?
No, I think I was born like early, like I was born in the afternoon, 1:07, 1:06 p.m. on a Tuesday.
Oh. So you're a liar.
Yes. Yep. Because I was born on a Tuesday, not because I said I was born at night.
Yep.
But I was not born last night, and I will not deny that.
That's all that matters.
So, could these pyramids be markers guiding people or even extraterrestrial visitors to the hidden entrances in the ice wall? I am fucking having a stroke, man.
Also, are you wearing a charm bracelet?
Yeah, can you hear it?
Yes.
I got it made at a little arts fair with my sister. It was so cute. You only had to pay like $3 for the chain, and then all of the bracelets to add on were only like 50 cents.
Charms, but yes. Oh, that's
I'll take
cute.
it off. Isn't it cute? I got a flamingo, a corgi, a ladybug, a whale tail, a pig, a squirrel, a happy little cloud, and a Jesus fish.
I saw the Jesus fish.
Anyway, I'll take it off. Sorry, I was just trying to do ASMR, I guess.
Thanks.
Maybe that is what was making reading so difficult.
Yeah, you were trying to do ASMR Reiki.
Yeah, and not the fact that I feel atrociously ill. No, it was the Reiki and the ASMR that got me. So, some theorists suggest that these structures are part of a global network of ancient power sources, connected through ley lines or other forms of earth energy. And if true, this means that Antarctica is not just a frozen wasteland that they want you to believe, but a central hub of ancient knowledge and power. So the Antarctic Treaty, signed in 1959, has pretty much kept all of Antarctica off limits to the public. Officially, it's to preserve the continent for scientific research and to prevent militarization.
Even though the military is already there?
Exactly. If you and I tried to go to Antarctica, we would be shot dead by the military.
Yeah.
But there likely is another reason it was there, because some believe that the treaty was actually designed to keep the real secrets of Antarctica hidden from the world. I mean, what happens if you try to go to any secret place? They're going to chase you off with guns and bombs. And there's another reason why, if you look over Area 51, it's like blurred out on Google Images. Antarctica is 100% photoshopped and compiled of a bunch of random clips put together. You do not see the full image of Antarctica when you go onto Google Earth. Crazy pants. And there are only a select few who have ever been allowed to venture beyond the established research stations. And those who do must adhere to very strict guidelines. There are reports of researchers who have gone missing, though, or who have likely been silenced after claiming to have seen things that they shouldn't have. One such case involves a scientist who claimed to have discovered an ancient city buried deep within the ice. Shortly after making his discovery, he disappeared without a trace, and all records of his work were erased. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say he had a heart attack.
No, that would
with
be
the heart attack gun.
But remember when we talked about the shapeshifter that lives under the ice in Antarctica, that entire team was picked up by the Russians. And it only came out through like leaked documents.
I just want to see them bust out the heart attack gun again.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's been a while.
You know what?
When's the last heart attack gun we had?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
It was that one guy. It was that one guy who was the professor that was interviewing all the people who were abducted by aliens.
Was it in our Area 51 episode where we talked about the guy who got in the fight under the base and he got all fucked up and the aliens, the tall grays shot his ear off?
Yeah.
I think like his colleague got hit with a heart attack gun.
Bring it back. CIA, who's listening?
Cowards, bring it back. And point it at me, and it won't do nothing because I ain't got no heart.
Nice. Edgy.
Yeah, I'm an edgelord. So some believe that Antarctica holds the key to understanding our true history, a history that has been suppressed and rewritten to keep us in the dark. And others think that the ice wall could be the final barrier, separating our world from whatever lies beyond. Whether it's an ancient civilization, extraterrestrial beings, or something even more unimaginable, one thing is certain: Antarctica is far more than just a frozen continent. It is a place where the past, present, and future collide, and where the truth is buried deep beneath the ice. Now, if you think this is all just conjecture, think about this. The Antarctic Treaty has held strong for over 60 years through global conflicts, the Cold War, the Trump presidency, and even the modern age of technology. Not a single country has broken it, not even during times of intense international tension. So why is this piece of land so important that every major power agrees to keep it off limits? Because what could be so valuable or so dangerous that the world's most powerful nations are united in keeping it secret? Let's jump back to Admiral Byrd. During his expeditions, Byrd mentioned seeing something strange, something that didn't fit with official maps and explanations. Again, he spoke of lands beyond the poles, areas so vast and unexplored that they defied imagination. So what if these lands were not just empty of expanses of ice, but actually entrances to another world, a world that was either hidden beneath the ice or beyond the ice, where evidence of these ancient civilizations or extraterrestrial beings could reside? So think about it. If such a place existed, the governments would not want us to know. They would want to do everything in their power to not only keep it hidden, but to control the knowledge and technology that they would find there. Because the more you dig into the history of Antarctica, the more that it seems like a giant puzzle with pieces that do not fit together. And the more that you look at the Antarctic Treaty, the more it actually seems like a cover-up, an agreement designed to keep us from the truth. So imagine for a moment that everything we've been told about Antarctica is a lie, that the continent is not just a barren wasteland, but a gateway to something much larger. Imagine that there is an ice wall and that it's not a natural formation, but just a barrier that was built to keep us from discovering what lies beyond. And now, imagine that the governments of the world are complicit in keeping this secret, using the Antarctic Treaty as a shield to prevent us from finding out the truth. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This is all speculation. There's no proof. This is a big ask. But isn't that what they want you to believe, Noelle? Because the truth is, we're never going to know what's happening in Antarctica. You want to know what happens when I search for Antarctica? I get told of how dangerous that strait is, how it's the most dangerous land in the entire ocean, and why going by boat will fucking kill you. So then if you want to go, then it's like, well, you can try to get a yacht, but it's going to cost you $6,000 to go to Venezuela. And then it's going to cost you another $6,000. The way that you can visit remote places on Earth, but cannot get to Antarctica without being fucking rich is insane. So that makes it the perfect place to hide something. And so long as the Antarctic Treaty remains in place, the secrets of the ice wall are going to stay buried. But there are those like Noelle and myself who are brave and determined to uncover the truth no matter the cost.
Brave patriots.
We are the true patriots, the independent researchers, the explorers and conspiracy theorists who continue to probe the edges of this mystery. We gather the evidence, we piece together the clues, and we challenge the official narrative. And while we may never get the chance to explore Antarctica firsthand, we'll keep this mystery alive. We will question what we've been told, and we will consider the possibility that there is more to Antarctica than meets the eye. So the next time someone brings us up, remember, it's not just a place of ice and snow. It's a land of secrets, hidden from view, waiting to be uncovered. And until someone dares to break through the silence, we may never know what's really going on in the coldest place on Earth. It's where the White Walkers.
This might be niche. Have you seen a video recently of Ludacris on a glacier that looks like it's on Antarctica?
That is
water.
So niche. No, I have not.
Well,
but if Ludacris gets to go to Antarctica before I do, I'm going to make my own heart attack gun.
But this is the thing.
Myself.
This is the thing that fucking gets me about the video. And I feel like I sent it to you and you never read any of my TikTok DMs.
No. Here's what I do.
Myself.
I like to keep my TikToks on hold so that when my For You page gets super fucked up, I can reset it. And then I have a fully curated For You page put together by my friends.
Okay. Well, whatever your lies, fairy tales, and fallacies are, there is a video of fucking Ludacris on a glacier, bending down and filling up his Nalgene and taking a little sippy. And I immediately was like, this is going to fuel Chelsea's conspiracy about like going into frozen tundras, because he is dressed like he's in Atlanta, Georgia. He's wearing a fucking South Pole Letterman's jacket, jeans, and Nikes.
Well, it does say he went up to Alaska.
But I'm just like, girl.
But like, they're lying about how cold it is there.
Girl.
You can grow plants there.
Look at him.
That's not that cold.
That's
also
crazy.
Ludacris. Why am I don't want to see Ludacris. I want to see Snoop at the Olympics. I'm tired of having to settle for Ludacris in Alaska.
Wearing mall casual clothes. It's so
wearing a
bizarre.
Letterman's jacket. Are those in again? You know, I just got an email saying that like jersey wear is back in. So that would be like Letterman's jackets and stuff. Yeah. And the idea is
revolting. Who's emailing you that?
Like Forever 21.
Oh, Jesus. Well,
you know, like the shops that they're like, do you have a good email? And I give them my email so that I can unsubscribe later, but I don't want to fuck up their goals by not letting them give me an email.
Yeah.
So I get a lot of those.
You know, that's one conspiracy that no one's talking about, is when you click unsubscribe on spam emails, they actually don't unsubscribe you. It just does nothing. It's a fake button.
You want to know what makes me want to kill? Is when you go to unsubscribe and they're like, enter your email. I'm like, I'm going to fucking slit your throat.
It's like, actually, I'm convinced it's a whole conspiracy. When they say enter your email, it actually is just signing you up again. It's
for
like
something
when
else.
Yeah.
For like the data. They're entering your email into someplace that bought your data off on the dark web. And then you start getting shit. I start getting like stuff for vitamins that I've never signed up for in my life. You're on this.
When you put your email in to that, like enter your email to unsubscribe in white font that is 0.2 font size, it's terms and conditions saying that you're actually resubscribing forever. And that's the real conspiracy.
And I believe you.
Because I have unsubscribed from edible arrangements at least this month 7 times alone. And that's just this month. And I still get these motherfucking emails.
You know, it took me forever to unsubscribe from Chick-fil-A because they were doing that thing at the Jazz games where if you have the app, and my dad really wanted it.
Chicken sandwich, yeah.
Well, I was trying to sign up my dad for it and they would not leave me alone.
Yeah.
So I believe you.
Yeah, there's, it's the illusion of choice. Just like pressing the button on the crosswalk, trying to close the elevator faster. It's not real. It's all fake.
Yep.
Just like the ability to unsubscribe from a fucking email.
I'm just going to
fake.
My gravestone is going to say had 20,000 unopened emails from Forever 21.
Oh my God. So, anyway, Oh, no. Never mind. I was going to talk about it, but you can't see it, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
But you know what you can see is the link tree in all of our bios. I am at Noelle Fain. That is at Sithlard. We are at Go to Hell Podcast. And if you click that link, you can get to our Patreon. Dollar gets you in. We had a fun little episode today. Went everywhere with it. Talked about Star Wars, talked about Disney being scammers and evil. Two braces, adult braces specifically. We learned, so we unlocked a new map in Chelsea's life. So that is always exciting. You can also find a link to our merch. 100% of proceeds are donated. You can also find a link to Kelly Holloran or at Wildwood Owl on Etsy. She makes cool shit for us and she makes cool shit in general. You can also find a link to our Discord server and most importantly, our YouTube, which you can go subscribe, like, bully. I don't care. Just jump on in there and have a little fun. And we still have a bunch of resources up as well within the link tree. And I don't know why you'd need it, but there's also a link to listen to us, which is anywhere podcasts are heard. Also, if you are on Spotify, there's now a fucking comment section under every episode.
Oh, that's fun. I didn't know that.
So
I am on Spotify, but I do not listen to us.
No, I was listening to a different podcast and saw it, and I was like, "Oh,
neat.
Look at that!" So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and give a hail to Zicam nasal swabs, which Zicam really does work if you are feeling a cold coming on. It has to be when you get the tingle, not when you're coughing up fucking cement, okay? Has to be in the beginning. And Chelsea and I have sensitive stomachs. We can't have zinc and magnesium, so we have to do the nasal ones, and they are fantastic. Well, I've done the spray. I just got the nasal swabs. Excited to try it. Zicam, if you're listening, I would love to be sponsored. It really changed my life. Zicam has changed my life in a big way. So everyone use Zicam. Hail Zicam.
I'm going to say hail the 3 separate Amazon orders that Noelle left in the carbon footprint. Amazon, if you're listening.
Oh my God.
We'd also appreciate a sponsorship. So.
It's Jeff Bezos listening to me talk shit about him in the beginning and then ending with being like, I made 3 separate Amazon purchases in one single night because I kept forgetting all the shit I needed. I haven't done it yet. I'm just at 2. I'm not going to get the 3rd.
You got to get the eye drops, girl. You know you need them.
I need them so bad.
You know you need them.
I need them.
So
anyway, let's get the fuck out of here.
All right. Bye.
Bye.